Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Elizabeth Wehrenberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Today is 6/6, June 6th, the 6th of June. So we have an angel number reading for you today. I'm just going to do a quick 10-minute little readings for you just to do check-in, give you some guidance, some good reminders. As we're all walking this path of life, it's good to have those sometimes. So I have 3 groups for you today. Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. You can pick by the card you can see, by the number, anything that resonates for you. And when you're ready, all the timestamps are below, and I'll see you at the reading that you chose. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So this is, again, just a quick little energy check-in reading to get you going, hopefully for today or whenever you watch this. So nothing is yet set in stone, mutable moon. So I think this card, group 1, if you pick this, part of you is resonating, like, sometimes when we're really in a situation that we don't like, or we wish wasn't happening, or it's really frustrating, or, it's like, okay, I've been in this transitory time for a long time. So what's happening, what's going on? Sometimes when we're there, it can feel like it's forever because it's not what we want, right? It can feel like, oh my God, this timing is happening and it feels so bad and it feels whatever. And it's just like, I'm never getting out of this, right? It's like when there are situations that don't feel the best to us, or are things that we wouldn't necessarily choose for ourselves, sometimes we can really say like, okay, this is the end. Oh my God, there's no coming out for me, all that. But so this card is really just a reminder that nothing is yet set in stone. That means I'm getting 2 messages. The first one is, nothing's forever, right? So if you're in a time right now where it's not what you want, if you're going through a hard time, if you're doing the work to work through this, just remember that every time you do something like that, every time you do that, it's changing something and adding momentum in some way, even if you can't see it right now. And so nothing lasts forever is also for like things we ideally wish would have happened, but nothing lasts forever also for things that don't feel the best, or things, again, we wouldn't necessarily willingly choose for ourselves. Okay. And then the second thing is also just remembering that, like, I love this beautiful ocean imagery on this card. Just remembering, like, God's in charge and we're not in charge, right? There's so many things that we think, oh, well, this is happening because, like, all these things are part of God's will for me, and this is why it's happening, whatever. But it's just things that have been happening that feel good to our ego, or that are close enough in our comfort zone that we're like, okay, that's fine if that happens, right? But there's so many things that we're not in control. God is in control. And when we forget that, that's when we can fall into this, like, oh my God, God's making this horrible thing happen to me and it feels so bad, when it's like, well, actually, how many things, like, weren't actually our choice? We just didn't mind them because they were things we didn't mind, or things we would have chosen anyway, right? There's so many things that it's like, oh, this feels so bad and why is this happening? But it's like, well, how many things were you actually spiritually fit this whole time, or were things just going your way? And so this card, again, just like we're going with the ocean of change, like we're not in control, God is in control. And remembering, like, God does things for us in ways that we wouldn't do for ourselves. With our limited human minds, we can think like A to B is the fastest, best way to get something, or it's the, it has to be this way, it has to do this, right? But then maybe the way God has it unfold, it does so many other side steps or reroutes or this or that or whatever. And instead we can be like, okay, well, why isn't it happening yet? But, there's lessons you had to learn along the way, or you had to learn patience, or you just had to learn humility, right? Like, you just had to learn, wow, I'm not in control of everything. So this is a reminder that nothing is yet set in stone. Things really can change for us in ways we can't imagine. And even in unideal circumstances, there are things there that are preparing us for things that we want, that saying, whatever you're going through is preparing you for what you prayed for. So just having faith and knowing that, nothing is permanent. Things you like, things you don't like, things you would choose, things you wouldn't choose. None of that is permanent, and it all is, nothing is yet set in stone also means, just leave a little bit of space in your heart for a miracle, for a creative possibility that you couldn't imagine on your own, for, again, God to do something for you in a way that you couldn't quite do it for yourself. Okay, I'm going to pick 3 tarot cards for you, and then I will do some oracle cards. Wow, very beautiful, group 1. Okay, so we have Strength, 8 of Swords, and then a High Priestess. So this is really powerful energy. So what I'm getting from these three cards, along with nothing is yet set in stone, you do have the strength to get through this. You do have, things feel good. It's like when you're thinking about the metaphor of like spiritual and emotional fitness with like physical fitness, right? When people are training or, just working out in a way, they continually increase the level of hardness so that they can develop their muscles more, or get better at whatever thing, right? It's the same thing with emotional and spiritual fitness, right? It isn't like this thing where, okay, I did it once, so I never have to try something challenging ever again, right? If you want to get stronger and have more stamina, you have to increase these things that you go through to do that. And again, that's not like saying we like them or it's fun or whatever, but just having some faith in your strength and your ability to do that and to be able to get through something. This will make a lot of difference for you. So it's not that like, if it feels like a walk in the park, you don't have any strength, right? Strength comes from the fact that you are doing it, you are showing up, you are being willing to face yourself, you are being willing to face your fears, to look at things, to figure out what you want to have happen, and kind of getting over some of this. This Eight of Swords is really, to me, about like learned helplessness. It's about like giving your power away. It's about like, I don't have any control here, I can't do anything, all this card to me is, you see there's all these swords around this person, but there's no one enforcing anything. And like this, even the being wrapped up, it's like kind of like loose, it doesn't look super tight, or like, so this is just relying on your own inner strength and calling some of your own power back, and knowing that you are not as helpless as your ego wants you to seem. And it could be, again, not controlling things you can't control, but just knowing that if you are conscious enough to be aware of these certain things, and sometimes we give our power away because we're really focused on like, oh, well, this thing didn't go my way, so I don't have any power in the situation. But it's just about calling your energy back and then redirecting it to what you do have power and control over. So maybe this particular thing isn't happening, or this thing you didn't want to have happen is happening. But it's like, okay, what do I have control over? What do I have the ability to change, to be in control of, right? It could just be the way you speak to yourself. It could be, asking God for patience. It could be, maybe you can't change certain things, but we always can change ourselves, and we can get clear on the ways we're speaking to ourselves, the stories we're telling ourselves. I mean, any and all of that is very much there. So I feel like, using your inner strength to not just fall into this like, oh, I can't do anything, like even if you can't change the circumstance, we can always do some inner work around what's coming up for us, and just offering that self-soothing energy for ourselves, and also like self-responsibility. Because then we have the High Priestess also. So this to me is like the connection to the divine. So I feel like if you haven't been relying on your higher power or on God to help you get through this situation, it's time to start. Okay. This is like connecting to the other side. This could be using any of spiritual tools that feel good for you. But this is just a reminder that, when you want to rely on your own strength, that means your ego is like convincing you to run the show instead of surrendering and giving it to God. So these three cards, I feel like, it's just a good reminder that you have more power than you think you have, calling your energy back from things that you can't control, saying like, okay, if I can't control this thing, can I control how I'm talking to myself, how I tell the story to myself, how I whatever. And then again, using your connection to your higher power to allow some of that like energy to come into your life in a way that is supportive and affirming. And, just knowing it can just give us so much relief when we know we don't have to do it on our own, but there is like higher power, angels, spirit guides, whatever you believe in, there to help us and guide us and, get us moving, and again, feeling like we're not alone in this stuff. Okay, let's look at some oracle cards. Okay, there's something better. So I feel like this card I love this card, and it's also just a reminder, again, nothing is yet set in stone. So if you feel like you've lost something or something was taken from you, just know that, God doesn't punish us. God is way smarter than we are, thank God, and God's in control, thank God. And so there's something better means that, if you lost something that feels irreplaceable, just remember something can come to you that is better. And knowing that there is something better can also be a different story you choose. It could be, what's coming for you is better than what has gone. I mean, this is just, again, a very good card to have some faith, to remember that, you're not being punished. Okay. That's where the ego wants to go a lot. Like, I really wanted this thing and it's not here, so I'm being punished. It's not about punishment. It's just knowing that, we can't see the full path. We can't see the full picture, but so it's for us to have faith and have patience and have trust while we go through some of these things that maybe, don't feel the best, but are necessary for us to, be on the soul growth path of life. Okay, then we have hydrangea, the first step. Breaking down this problem into tiny pieces makes it easy to take the first step. So again, I've been feeling a lot of like overwhelm energy with this reading for you, group 1. So I feel like first step here is just, getting back to this energy of what I was talking about, of like removing this learned helplessness of just like, I can't do anything, I can't whatever. It's like, okay, what can you do? One tiny thing you can do to like control your energy. It could be going for a walk. It could be saying a prayer. It could be journaling. It could be, like, can you just utilize some of these small healthy tools? Sometimes we can get overwhelmed when we're thinking about like, I need to solve this whole big thing right now. But it's like, what can I do and commit to every day? That is just one tiny first step. And then all that momentum is going to build to be able to get up there. So sometimes, again, if we're thinking too far ahead, we can get overwhelmed and we're like, well, I'm never going to figure this out. I'm never going to know what to do. I'll never, whatever. But so yeah, breaking it down into tiny pieces makes it easier to take the first steps. Just remember, one thing at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time, one breath at a time. It's just, you don't have to solve everything immediately. Just, again, what can I control? What am I in control of? What is my responsibility? Even, certain things are not your responsibility. Like, you have no business trying to control them. So looking at that and breaking it down. And then we have the supply is infinite. What a beautiful card. So again, I feel like there's just a lot of affirming energy I'm getting for you guys in group 1 of like, there's something better. Nothing is yet set in stone. The supply is infinite. This just means that any loss is not the end, right? Loss sometimes we think is the end of something, but it's usually the beginning of something leaving or something, a seed being planted so that we can have something that is a better match for us to come into our life. So the supply is infinite just means that we do live in an abundant reality, and there's always more. Life always goes on. Things always change. There is always more and more things than, just these one little things that we thought were all we had access to. But just, again, the supply is infinite, and that even can, be about like, you can make infinite prayers. You can write in your journal infinite times. You can ask God for help infinite times, right? So the supply is infinite just means nothing can ever mute your connection to God besides you and your ability to ask for help or want to be better or not giving up, so hang in there, group 1. And then we'll close with one affirmation. Nope, that one didn't want to come out. We'll pick another one. Demystifying the darkness. My shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. So again, I feel like there's just group 1. I'm just, so much of this reading has been about like, just remembering where you can put your power, like into something that feels uncontrollable and something that we actually aren't in control of. Pull your energy back from that and put it back to where you need to send love, right? So if you can feel totally out of control, if you can't control a bunch of things that are happening in your life, what can you control? You control the way you speak to yourself, the way you don't abandon yourself, the way you soothe yourself, the way you ask for help and support from your loved ones. Okay, so just remember, my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. So a lot of this time, it's not about trying harder. It's just like redirecting our energy to where it can actually be helpful for us. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's for everyone who picked group number 2. So as a reminder, this is just a quick 10-minute-ish little reading to give you some messages to keep you going. But you guys picked your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. So I just want to be I want to be clear off the bat, just say that this card is no way, everything I'm about to say is not to romanticize suffering or romanticize going through hardship or be like, suffer till you get to the end, right? I'm not a fan of that, but your commitment is being tested is a reminder that, sometimes when we really want something or we really are like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is whatever, right? Like self-discipline and knowing why we want it can take us further than just that moment of like, oh yeah, I want to do this, right? We can feel motivated in certain moments, but having self-discipline and discernment and commitment to something long-term is really what shows us, what we actually want and what we don't actually want. And so your commitment is being tested. So maybe you're going through something where like, okay, I thought this would be solved by now, or I thought I would figure this particular thing out by now, or I thought this would be easier than it has been by now, or, you know, whatever's coming up with you with that. But so, you know, sometimes when we really want something, you know, we have this, you know, things can come up where it's like, okay, you know, you decide I'm going to set this boundary. This is the thing I'm going to do. This is, you know, that's it. And then the next day, like something to challenge that boundary or be like, oh, are you sure it can happen? You know, it could even be almost immediately, right? So this card is a reminder that when you say you want something, you're going to immediately see things that can push you outside of that in a way that you hadn't been noticing before. So your commitment is being tested that like once you decide this is what I want, anything you need to say no to is going to get really loud, because you're rewriting a habit, you're changing a pattern, you're having something new come into your life. So if this is, you know, if you have decided you want something and the road has been a little harder than you thought it was going to be, this is your sign that, you know, it's your commitment's being tested, and it's not, you know, a pass or fail test, but it is just like, this is part of the nature of life. This is part of these things. This is part of when you say you want something, you know, it's not that something is harder or easier. It's just a more practiced pattern than not. Okay. So just think about it as like, you're practicing the new pattern, you're practicing new choices to make, new thoughts you tell yourself, new whatever's going on. But just a reminder that again, your commitment being tested isn't like punishment. And again, it isn't like, if it's like suffering to the point that is unnecessary, okay, we don't want to do that. But this is again, was when you make the choice to set new boundaries or have a new pattern in your life or choose something new, your commitment does get tested. And this does remind you that, you know, it is up to you to stay disciplined and stay focused and committed to the choices you have made that you know will benefit your life, instead of, you know, going off this certain way. Because I'm hearing too the phrase, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? And so it's normal to, when you do want to choose something different, when you do want to grow, when you do want to have something outside of your comfort zone, it's very normal to have a situation that is like, oh my God, I feel insane. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm at square one, right? And so when you feel uncomfortable, that's a sign of growth and pushing yourself to do something new. Versus, you know, if something felt completely easy and like not challenging and no old stories came up, then that's, you know, something that's a little bit inside your comfort zone. And so if you do want to have something different and be different, it's very normal for discomfort and for, you know, your commitment to working through that discomfort to come through, to be able to get there. Okay, I'm going to pick 3 tarot cards for you, and then I'll look at some oracle cards for you, group 2. Okay, 3 major arcana. So group 2, you might not be effing around. You might be going through it a little bit. You have the Fool, the Hermit, and the Hierophant. Wow. Okay, so I feel like this Fool energy is exactly what I was talking about, of like, you know, I'm making this decision. I'm ready. The Fool is about like, look before you leap, or don't look before you leap. It's about, this is what I'm doing. Just gonna roll with it and see what happens. So I feel like group 2, you had this energy of like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take the step off the edge. I'm ready to take my leap of faith. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. And then what comes up is, you know, this energy of the Hermit of like, oh my God, this is harder than I thought. Some things are coming up internally for me that I didn't think I was going to have to deal with, or, you know, I have to go inside and soothe myself or deal with things that came up that, you know, again, didn't think I was going to have to deal with. So these 2 cards are really about, you know, this balance of, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make a change. And then when it gets hard and challenging and our commitments are tested, it's like, okay, I do need to go inward a little bit. I do need to check in with myself. I do need to be able to be like, okay, what actually, you know, can I do to soothe myself, to stay committed to this path, to do these types of things. So this is a very normal, like, again, I'm ready to go. Okay, I need to check back in. I'm ready to go. I need to check back in. So any of this back and forth energy is really, you know, again, it's normal. It's part of this process of getting outside of our comfort zone with everything. And then we have the Hierophant. So I feel like the guidance for moving forward, Hierophant is about like doing things traditionally, getting back to basics, doing things like one thing at a time, not trying to overpromise or, you know, say like, oh, I can change everything about myself overnight. You can't, no one can, unless, you know, there is an extreme situation sometimes, but in general, if we're just trying to change our patterns and things, the Hierophant is a reminder that like, go back to basics, slow and steady wins the race. Go back to some of these like traditional simple things that work and we know work, because they've lasted the test of time with humans. So this is just really saying, this is, to me, is also a card about discipline. It's about long-term commitment to something. So if something does feel uncomfortable or like you're being pushed out of your comfort zone or like, can I do this? Can I whatever? It's just like one day at a time, just focus on what you can control, what you can do. And know that like, if your heart was drawn to this and it's something that you feel you want to have in your life, go inward and deal with your inner triggers, deal with what's coming up, deal with like the imposter syndrome, or deal with like, oh, maybe I don't want this actually because it's challenging, right? But instead, this Hierophant energy is really reminding us that when things do come up that don't feel the most comfortable, that means we are moving in a way that, is the right path for us. It's things that, the obstacles are the way. So remembering like this Hierophant energy of like, again, staying focused on what you can control, using your basic tools, just, keep it simple, right? A lot of times we think, oh, if we add more things, or if we make this more complicated, or if we do this, this, or this, then you can figure all this stuff out and it'll be way easier, but Hierophant is really just a reminder, like keep it simple and keep doing that stuff over and over again. And that always adds up and that always makes a way for you. And it always, gets you through to the other side. It's just, it doesn't, the discomfort not going away doesn't mean you're not on the right path. It just means, you have to rewrite that pattern still. Okay, and let's look at some oracle cards. Choose a new direction. So I feel like this is, okay, this is just a little nuanced information for you. Okay, so a lot of what I was talking about is like forge a path, keep going, figure out, go this, and this way. But sometimes, you have to, only you can know in your heart. This one curl up mine won't say, okay. Only you can know in your heart when it's like a good level of like, okay, only you can discern when it's something that's like, okay, I just need to keep going. This is just discomfort because I'm writing a new pathway. Or it's just not working. Okay. It's like running into a brick wall. It's like, okay, this is clear that it's not happening for me. Right. So I think that's just another little nuance to add to this. It could be, are you doing something because you really want it to be the thing for you and you really want to whatever, but it's clear that it's just not? Or are you doing it and it's uncomfortable and you need to keep going? Choose a new direction could also be like choose a new story you're telling yourself. It could be, using these Hierophant tools of like, what is simple, what is clear, what is easy, what makes sense, right? So choose a new direction can also be, choose a new simple tool to use. If you've been trying to control a bunch of stuff, or, maybe you want to tell a different story, choose a new direction can also be about that, of just like, changing the inner monologue more than, a new direction doesn't mean a completely new path. It could just mean, a way you're going about the problem, or a way that you are thinking about it, or the tools you're using, or, any of that. Just remembering like you can change your strategy. Doesn't mean you're abandoning the path. It just means you're going at it a different way. Then we have take time for yourself, tulip, enjoy relaxation activities that nurture your soul. So this is really beautiful. And this is, again, really mirroring the Hermit. A lot of times when we do want to rewrite a pattern, like, or we're choosing something different, choosing something outside of our comfort zone, a lot of these feelings of inadequacy can come up of like, do I really deserve this? Am I really worth like choosing a new pattern and making something new for myself, right? So this is, again, with that Hermit energy, taking time for yourself and things that nurture you, just like, having the discipline to choose something different and choose a new pattern doesn't mean that you need to push yourself through hardship or punish yourself or like, just get through it and toughen it up. We can push ourselves to reach our goals by being like absolutely ruthless and heartless to ourselves. But if you get there, if you like lose this nice softness you have with yourself, like, was it worth it? So this is just saying, make sure, it is a lot to change your habits. So if you are, changing these things, make sure you are making time for yourself, make sure you are nurturing your soul, make sure you are filling your own cup back up, as a lot of these, again, limiting beliefs and old stories can come up in a way that, maybe you need a little more you need a little more love and care and nurturing energy for yourself than, you know, what you think you need, you know. So don't don't completely abandon yourself or completely feel like, you know, I don't deserve any love or care because I'm going to tough through rewriting this pattern for myself with all of that. We have cracking the seed open. So again, this is similar energy to me of just like, you know, these like pain and feeling uncomfortable, those are the touchstones of progress because you're looking at something you never looked at before, rewriting a pattern, right? It's like if you don't look at it, it can't be different. So cracking the seed open, this is like a thing where, you know, it's like, it probably doesn't feel the best, but it's on a path for you that can feel just having faith in the process, like something going smoothly and feeling 100% comfortable. Something doesn't have to feel like that to know it's like the right path for you. So cracking the seed open, going through hardship, feeling upset, feeling sad, all of that can, you know, doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It just means, you know, it's things that come up that we have to deal with. It's, you know, things that come up with our old programming we have to rewrite, with old stories we told ourselves, you know. So cracking the seed open to make way for something new doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or it's the wrong path. It's just part of the process, you know. Okay, and then I'm going to pick one affirmation for you to close out your reading. Uncovering confidence. I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. That's true. You know, that really is true. And I think, you know, uncovering confidence, this can really mean that your commitment is being tested. Sometimes that happens just so we can see how much stronger we were than we thought, or we can see we can rely on ourselves in a way we didn't think we could. So just remembering, I'm the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. That's your things you're going through are contributing to the things you need to give to the world, but also, you know, this process that again maybe doesn't feel the best, those are all missing pieces for your path to get to where you want to get to. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So you all picked the card, A Time for Healing. So I feel like group 3, if you've been trying to push yourself, or, you know, like, I need to get this done, I need to make it go faster, I need to rush the process, I need to whatever, this card is really saying, take some time to turn inward, take some time to give yourself some love and care, you know, take some time to trust that the process is about unfolding, and it is about, you know, letting things take the time they take, right? None of us want to just be like, okay, I have to like be still and do my healing right now, right? But there are times in our lives where we do need to rest a little more, we need to heal a little more, we need to like let our inner wounds kind of be nourished and find some you know, find some healing energy there, find some peace there. So again, A Time for Healing. If you've been trying to like force yourself through something, or be like, okay, that's enough, get it together, let's go, like rushing, your body knows the pace it can go at that feels right for you. So if this is a time for you where you feel like, no, I need to do better, I need to do more, I need to whatever, just remember there is a time and a place for you to relax, to tune inward, to allow things to go at their pace, and, you know, just letting these things unfold in the time that is actually for our highest good, instead of, you know, I decided this is what I want to have happen, so this is what needs to happen. So maybe you can ease up on yourself, you can lighten up on yourself, you can, you know, just let these things, you know, let the process be its process. Let the time it takes be the time it takes, and not, you know, like punish yourself or be like, oh, I should be here, I should be faster, I should be this, I should be whatever. Just again, having faith that your process is your process. And if you are showing up for yourself and doing what you can do for yourself, again, letting that be enough, letting that be, you know, the energy you need to offer yourself some love and care and compassion, instead of, again, forcing yourself through something or making things feel, you know, making like trying to make yourself feel bad for things that you know you need to do for yourself. Okay, and so I'm going to pick 3 tarot cards for you, and then we'll look at some oracle cards. So I think, yeah, give yourself permission to rest, to just chill out, to, you know, be in the energy of whatever you need to heal, instead of, again, trying to force yourself through it to, you know, be like, okay, that's it. This is what I have to do. This is, I need to just, you know, tough through it and I'm ready to go, right? Give yourself permission to just be gentle, go slow down a little bit. You know, all of that is really, it's a necessary part of the process for all of us, no matter what we're going through, but especially in a time of healing. Okay, so group 3, you guys have the 5 of Cups, Chariot, and the King of Pentacles. Okay, so I feel like, again, yeah, there's some loss here for you, group 3. Okay, so 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups is very much about, you know, knowing you still have your blessings, but you've lost some things. There is a loss here, of course, there is sadness. And so if you've been trying to like pretend like this isn't happening, or just kind of like turning away from feeling, I really feel it in my heart, feeling the depth of like the loss or sadness, or just even like coming to terms with really looking at something, which sometimes we can be like, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to see that. But so if you've really been denying that, or not letting yourself even talk about it, you know, my throat, something's wrong with my throat, like talk about it, or, you know, just give yourself permission to be held in these ways. This is like really, you know, this is like, just let yourself be sad. That's part of healing. Is let yourself feel sad, let yourself be mad, let yourself be upset, let yourself, you know, not letting yourself feel any particular feelings isn't going to save you in the long term, even if you think it's going to, right? So this is really about letting yourself be in that sadness. And then again, this Chariot energy is about moving forward slowly and steadily. Okay, so this is like, this is not a card of rushing. It's not, on some of the tarot we see like the person's moving so quickly. This is a card about moving slowly. It's about moving at a pace that works between your head and your heart. It's a, you know, this is balancing head and the heart. It's balancing like, okay, feeling my feelings, but logically I know I need to do this to move forward. And so having faith with that, and knowing that, you know, this Chariot energy isn't ever there to punish us. It's just going at a pace that feels right for us, and not comparing our pace or our journey to other people. So if you need to go at a pace that's a little bit slower than what you would like, but making sure you're still honoring this. And the thing about grief is it's not on a timeline, and processing our feelings is not on a timeline. It's just, it's going to happen when it happens. And we have to feel what we have to feel when we have to feel it. I think you got that. Okay. So this is just remembering that the Chariot is forward momentum, but it's not, you know, you don't have to do it to the point where you like go faster than you need to. So I think what I'm really hearing is like giving yourself permission for a time for healing, but not skipping over your healing, but also not making yourself feel like, oh, this is the thing I need to do. And this is the, like, not getting overly strategic about it too, but also balancing again, some of this logical energy with like, okay, I know I still need to, you know, go to work or go to my thing that helps me or whatever. So just finding that balance. And then we have the beautiful King of Pentacles here. So King of Pentacles is kind of like, it is about abundance, but it's also just about like reality check, like, okay, wow, this is what's going on. And so I feel like when you keep moving forward with this Chariot energy, you know, slow and steady, and just honoring the path and balancing the logic and the heart, and, you know, the mind and the heart and all of these things, this King of Pentacles energy is just going to be a good reminder that like, okay, you can go at the pace that works for you, and things will come into abundance. Things will click into place one day. Something will happen eventually, right? You're not doomed to have this like end all be all, you know, like you're stuck here forever. And sometimes we can be scared to feel our feelings because we think like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And how am I going to get through this and whatever. But so this King of Pentacles energy is really just remembering like you will get there, you will find abundance, you will find peace again. But it isn't, you know, it's just trusting that process and letting yourself move through that process instead of, you know, being like, okay, I did this many hours, or I prayed this many times. So like, where's my reward? And did I heal my process yet? Right? Just letting your body have the process it needs, because also with healing too, it's like we think we're focused on one thing, but there's so many things going on that we don't know about. Our old stuff, our family stuff, intergenerational stuff, stuff that's not ours, right? There's a lot of things going on in one situation that can make us feel like, okay, well, it should be done by now because I feel better about this thing. But there's so much going on energetically that we don't know about, that it's important to allow space for all those things to come through. Okay, and I'm going to pick some oracle cards for you now to get a little bit more insight and guidance for you. Perfect timing. Okay, so what was I just talking about, right? So this is really just about knowing that, there are things where so the sun just went behind the cloud. So if my lighting got really dark, just stay with me, okay? But perfect timing, this is really about, again, knowing that your path is the right and perfect timing for you. Your path is the right and perfect unfolding for you. And knowing that God's timing is perfect timing, and you don't need to manipulate or force something or wrestle with reality or make something be something it's not, right? This perfect timing really is about knowing that your process is the process it needs to be for you, and you don't need to judge it, you don't need to change it, you don't need to force it along. Just remembering everything's unfolding in the perfect timing. And I know that's really annoying to hear when you just wish certain things would be over. Just wish you could get to the other side. But I promise, hang in there. It is perfect timing, and it's, it is God's time and not our time. And sometimes it is just to develop sincerity and humility, and if that's all you get from it, then that's enough. That's a beautiful gift to get from a hardship in our life. Okay, then we have open your heart, red rose. Your potential for greater love rests in opening your heart. Blockages and wounds from your past will be healed, and you'll be met with the true passion you seek. So I feel again, just with this theme of healing that we have group 3 for you, of just sometimes we don't want to look at our healing because we don't want to, it's too painful or it's too whatever. But so when you try to shut your heart down from avoiding, you don't want to feel pain, you don't want to feel sadness, you don't want to feel whatever, you're also closing your heart to everything else. So this is, if you're opening your heart, again, you don't have to go 0 to 100 with it, right? But this can be a reminder that when you do open your heart a little bit to, you don't have to, again, go completely open everything all at once. But when you do open your heart to more love and support and wanting to heal that, some pain is going to come up, but just remember the length with which you're committed to feel these painful things and go to the depth with yourself, that's how much abundance and love and care you'll be given back to yourself also. So opening your heart doesn't have to be scary. Again, it can be painful in the beginning when you're first looking at something, but again, your potential, like this card says, your potential for greater love rests in opening your heart. Okay, so the way to heal your heart, you don't heal your heart by pretending you don't have one. You don't heal your heart by, shutting down all your emotions from everything, right? If you want to feel great depth, then you have to heal great depth. Okay, and then we'll close with this one. Or no, let's do one more oracle, then I'll do an affirmation for you. Oh, then we have start where you are. This card fell out of the deck. So start where you are. So I feel if you feel overwhelmed with this time for healing, it really is just, these two hands are really just about in this moon phase, trusting the cycle you're in. And these two hands just offering yourself some loving, nurturing, gentle energy for yourself, and knowing you don't have to figure out everything all at once. You don't figure out every single part of your healing all at once. You can let yourself just do one little thing at a time. If it's just one little nourishing thing at a time, one day at a time, step by step, breath by breath, it's all going to add up. Start where you are. Don't feel like you have to, again, have the whole world figured out right away. It's you can start where you are. You can just do one thing at a time. And again, that slow and steady chariot energy, all of this does add up. And it just starts by, just take the first step and go from there. Okay, and then I'll close with one oracle card. Unhooking the past. There is nothing to regret when I learned from my past. Yeah, so I feel sometimes, we cannot want to do healing because it means we have to look at a way that we've outgrown, or look at something that really doesn't resonate for us, or maybe we have some shame around it, or whatever. But if you can think of the past as just if you sincerely atoned for your past, you sincerely learned your lesson, there's no need to keep punishing yourself. We all have things we grow out of. We all have things that we did that worked for us at the time, and then they don't anymore. And so if you can, really give yourself permission to unhook the past, to let it go, to not keep punishing yourself over and over and over again. You can just say, that was then, this is now, this is what I'm letting go of that. Again, if you've sincerely atoned for it in your heart, give yourself permission to stop stop punishing yourself. It's not helping anyone, especially not you, especially for, we're all just human. So there's nothing to regret when I learned from my past. So exactly. So the past can just be something that happened. And now, if you have really learned your lesson and embodied what it means to do better, like give yourself permission to not like completely punish yourself anymore with everything. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.